Okay, so this week we are discussing Shazam, Fury of the Gods. This is going to be an interesting movie film to discuss because last year, the entirety of the DCEU was shaken up. It's all been but said that the majority of it is going to be retconned by the upcoming Flash movie. And so here we have a film that fans aren't sure if it is going to be a part of the new plan going forward or if it's going to be a casualty. And we'll talk about that because there's some post-credits things that go on. But all that to say that this film is in a weird spot before we even look at the quality of the writing or the acting or the CGI or any of that. This film was very interesting in a number of ways. It follows the story of Billy Batson and his Shazamily after the events of the first movie. Athena is very excited to talk about it, and yeah. Hunter, do you have a question that you would like to ask me?
I do have a question that I would like to ask you, and that question is, but is Shazam, Fury of the Gods good?
We're gonna find out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do it.
But is it good podcast? Yeah.
Greetings.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 116 of But
Yeah.
Is It Good podcast.
Yeah. The 116 playing pickup sticks. A couple of dicks talking about these movie flicks. Yeah.
I'm your host, Hunter Callahan.
And I'm your boy Zach, as a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact?
It's a matter of fact, Hunter.
Matter of fact, man. Matter of fact. Welcome to the podcast. I'm not sure what I was going to say. Welcome to the podcast. I'm out of it. I'm hanging on by a thread.
But Is It Good podcast, where we review the latest releases, your films from your childhood, art house cinema, to answer the ultimate question, but is it good? Because movies are a lot of things. They can be a movie can be entertaining without being good, right?
So many things. Too many things,
So
actually.
many things.
They can be too many things.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're like, is it smart? Is it clever? Is it funny? None of that matters. What do you say? You say, but is it good?
But is it good? It's the only thing that matters. And
Anyway.
Nothing else matters.
Ooh-ah. Nothing else
So close.
matters.
No matter how far.
Never felt this way from the heart. Metallica. Anyway, yeah. So housekeeping, like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. As I'll discuss briefly in a few minutes. My life is about to get a lot less hectic.
It's good.
So I will hopefully be able to, we can be a bit more streamlined. I've been slacking on the socials, and I apologize for that. Zach, please don't fire me. But please follow us on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and Twitter, and subscribe on Spotify and Apple Music and Google Podcasts. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, you can find us. We're there.
Yes, you can
I'll
find
be
us.
there for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You got very soft-spoken, so now I'm going to be very soft-spoken.
It's okay. It was like I ran out of breath, but then my voice, because my voice is so tired from last night, it like popped into falsetto. So I just kept it, it's a really smooth tone. It's fine.
That's
I
right.
can just
Yeah.
We could do the entire podcast like this. That's
yeah,
okay.
We could.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Zach, how are you?
I'm good. I had a good week. Athena is better. So, I haven't been stressed. Just
Yay.
working, grinding, doing my thing,
Mm-hmm.
practicing self-care. How are you? You had a show yesterday that
I
was
did
a
have
hit.
a show. It was a hit. You were there. Zach graciously helped me sell merch because, and you were a very good merch salesman, by the way.
I sold 2 necklaces and 3 shirts.
My man. Yeah, I had my show last night at Eddie's in Atlanta, and it was a packed house, far more than I actually anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some success there, so I, wanted to do well, but I haven't played there in like 3 years, and so I was worried that it was going to be not like a disappointment. That sounds kind of bad because any amount there is cool to even as one person, you got to play the show.
Yeah.
But it was packed out, man. We had a full house, and band played good. I had a lot of fun. I am exhausted today.
We learned, I always love an opportunity to learn something new.
Yes.
We learned that Hunter's colorblind. I did not know that. I didn't. I really.
Yes, you did. You had to at least have an idea. I haven't said that to you.
I don't think so. But not
I'm
only that.
extremely colorblind.
Not only that, Hunter. So Hunter bought for the show
Yes.
a pair of pink flare. They flare out
Flares.
the bottom.
Yeah, faded
pink flares.
Flares.
To wear for the show. And we're in the the green room, right?
Yeah. It's made like a green closet, but yeah.
Green closet. That's
it's
why I
tiny.
didn't want to say green room because it's very small.
Yes.
We're in the green closet, and Hunter is steaming a pair of mint green pants, and he's like, "I'm excited to wear my pink pants." Hannah, Chase, and I were in there, and Hannah looks at me. Chase looks at me. Hannah and Chase look at each other, and I go, "Hunter, his pants are not pink." Oh, it was sad. But I guess the reason it was so shocking to me is that green is your favorite color. So I thought you could. I guess everything's green to you. Is that what your colorblindness is?
I only see green. No, what's funny is that as soon as y'all said that and I realized it, then I could see very clearly that they were green.
Yeah.
I think what happened is that that was like a faded mint green, and then I bought faded pink pants, and the mint green pants I haven't worn them yet, so the tag was still on them. So I assumed, that's the ones that I just bought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I barely looked at them when I packed them up, and then when I got there, I just was like, I had decided mentally that they were pink, and then I realized I was like, shit, they're not. I was so mad. I was so mad because I was so excited for those pants, but it's all right.
It is.
And frankly, I could have worn the mint green pants. They're very cool.
Yeah.
They're more
good.
They're more of like a wide leg pant, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to wear the flares,
Yeah.
But I'll have you know that, we had this whole discussion. Me and some friends from work, Corey and Bernard, we talked about me being colorblind, and we took tests online, and those ones where it's like, look at this picture and say what number you see.
Yeah.
And they'd be like 7. And I was like, I don't see anything. Like
It's
I
just a
really was
circle.
like, I
Y'all
don't
are
see
fucking with me.
anything. I took a test, and like me and Hannah did it because she's not colorblind, and I found out that I see something like 10% of the color that she can see,
That's insane.
which is
So you're
wild.
So you're like a dog.
No, I can see color, but it's like I see because the human eye can see millions and millions and millions of technically millions of colors, even though it's like
The
You know,
normal
yeah.
the normal human eye.
I
Yeah.
can see like 1 million colors less.
Okay.
So it's shades, it's shades of colors. Like last night, where in certain light I'm like, these are pink, and it's not until I really look at them that they're not. But there's stuff where it's like navy blue is black to me, or like there's so many sweaters where like I have sweaters where I'll be like, that like gray sweater, and she'll be like, you mean the green sweater? Or like blue, and to her it's like this
Yeah.
obvious, and I'm like, no, it's gray. or there's reds that will look like brown, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It's, like I'm very colorblind.
You know,
Facts.
a lot of people don't realize that they're colorblind, and they are.
Yep.
We were talking last night about all the ailments that I have. Color blindness is not one of them. But like I've been wearing like a bluish green, and there's a difference between bluish green and greenish blue, right? It depends
Yes.
on which
Yes.
you're closer to, correct? A bluish green shirt, and I'll be like, oh, my blue shirt, and people in my family are like, that shirt is green, and I'm like, it is not green. I've taken at one point I took a like color accuracy test. It wasn't just like see what numbers here. It was like what color is this? Like what shade is this? And seeing how accurate you could be. And I got a 100%. So I feel like I know my colors.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get their blues and greens mixed up.
Yeah, I'm quite colorblind. But that being said, the show was a hit. It was great. We had a great time. Had some good Waffle House afterwards.
When the dress happened, and it was like, is this white and gold or black and blue? Were you like, I just see like orange. The dress is orange.
I think I saw it as white and gold.
Okay, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did. But yeah, it's an ailment that I have, and I live with it. It's fine. I can start advocating for it. No, I mean, it really doesn't really affect my life. And besides just kind of funny instances like last night, where I'll be like, that's green. And they're like, you're a damn liar is what you are. I'm like, no, I genuinely just see it as green. But anyway, yeah, it was fun. Had a good time. I'm excited for it to be over in the sense of like, I can kind of pick my life up again. Cause now I like my routine got just blown up, and my sleep schedule has been crazy. I've been up all night past few weeks practicing and working on the show. And so I'm excited to just be like, cool, I can chill for a second.
It's like a wedding. It's like you want to do it. You're very excited to do it. It is a good thing to do. You wed the music, right? And then when it's over, you're like, oh, thank God. I'm going to go on a honeymoon.
Now I can just, go on a honeymoon. There you go. I like that. Okay, cool. Shall we begin?
Yeah.
All right. It's your episode, so I'll let you. Please, I'm handing you the steering wheel to steer this.
Okay, hold on. Extend your arm and hand it to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have it in my hand here. So Hunter, what are your first thoughts about this movie film?
Well, before I get into that, I have to give a shout out to our local theater once again, because NCG struck again.
Yeah, we've named them at this point. So.
At this point, we've named them. I went to see the movie today at 2:00, and the movie started at 2:30.
So late.
When it started, it had no sound. And what's funny is that the Warner Brothers and the DC and the title card came up and it was silent, and I thought, oh wow, this is an interesting. Okay, we're gonna be serious.
Choice.
Gonna be serious. And then it faded in on this. It was I think it was Grease, I think. And it was like, oh, okay, well, because that's when I perked up and I was like, hold on, wait a second, is the sound off? And then you see some people walking in, and I was like, all right, I think the sound's off. And then to see a guy talking, and I was like, son of a bitch, these people. So that was very frustrating.
It's like, I thought that the way movies were done now, it's like you just push the button and it starts playing the movie, right?
He went up there, some guy went up to the thing and fixed it in 2 seconds. And I was like, what happened? Because we just watched all these previews and the sound was blaring and it was fine. So what switched? Did you have it on mute by chance? You know what I'm saying? What happened?
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, this movie to me is, I almost said Black Adam, but I actually enjoyed it a bit more than Black Adam. I think I liked this movie more than you, but that isn't actually saying that much.
Okay.
Because it was just there are parts where I feel like, and this is no spoilers, but I feel like there's a weird disconnect in this film. Because I quite enjoyed the first one. I think it's campy, and sometimes it can be a little cringy, but it's silly and it's fun.
Right.
And this one, there was elements of that I really enjoyed, and I had some good laughs. But then there's a really I feel like Zachary Levi is overplaying his character in this movie.
For sure.
like there's a weird disconnect between like Shazam and Billy. Like I feel like when
Yeah.
Billy becomes Shazam, he becomes an idiot. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And just like this over the top kind of. So that was annoying. The writing's not great. The CGI was kind of hit or miss at some points. I feel like there's some weird, which usually, funny enough, is that even though DC movies have been worse, they've always looked great to me for the most part.
Mhm.
Except for the villain in Shazam, the devil guy at the end was atrocious. But there are some kind of weird moments, and it just like to me, as with a lot of like, it was sort of like Ant-Man in the sense of not as like I liked Ant-Man less, but in the sense of I was watching it and I just did not care. You know what I mean? Where I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't really care about this.
Right.
I think the best part of the movie to me, which even he was overacting a little bit, was a little too done up, was Freddy. But I also just love that actor. I forget his name. Yeah, I mean it was just fine. There were funny moments. I would see how this is like a family movie for younger audiences. You know, it was disappointing in the sense of like I liked the first one, but it was just sort of like, all right, I guess, you know. There are parts, let me say this, there are parts I think David F. Sandberg is his name, is the director. He comes from a horror background, and as with the first one, when he does creatures and does those kind of elements, I actually think it works really well. I think it's good. It's like it's obviously his like strong suit as far as the visual and like that sort of approach, like the 7 deadly sins in the first ones and then the creatures in this one. But again, like that's not going to save a film from being good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like staying in DC, Batman v Superman, I think to me looks amazing. It still has some really stupid decisions. You know, so good visuals doesn't make a good movie.
That's right. That's accurate.
This movie is gonna go nowhere. This is not a spoiler for the film, but like it's not doing well. So it's likely not going to carry over to the new DCU, which we can discuss. But now, Zach, you tell me because you were texting me stuff earlier, and I have an idea of what you feel about this movie.
I thought that I wanted to give this film a chance. I didn't want it to be. I know a lot of people aren't going to see it because they're like, how is it going to connect, right? Which is part of the reason why it's not doing well.
Yeah, and that's a stupid reason.
I don't think it's the only reason it's not doing well because I thought that the movie that I saw today was atrocious. Like I thought it was horrible. I did not enjoy it at all. Like straight from the beginning. From a writing perspective, it felt like there were times where two people would be speaking like one-on-one, and the dialogue felt like it didn't line up. Like it felt like it just didn't mesh well. Like the Regal commercial where they're doing all the movie quotes and it just doesn't really line up, right? We were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
But in an actual movie, you know. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of these shots that felt like a lower tier of movie. So like when I did extras work, I was on movies like what was it?
Blockers and Rampage.
Well, Blockers, Rampage.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about. It's the one about the kids. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Is it Divergent or I can't remember if it's Divergent or if it's something.
It wasn't Divergent, but it's in that realm of film. The like young adult. Yeah.
And they would just have these shots where it's like, okay, we just want you to like walk towards the camera and look heroic. And it didn't look natural at all. You know what I mean? Like it's just like them like walking and they're just like walking down a fucking hill. But they're like, it's like they're trying to be like Jason Statham walking away from like a fucking explosion or something, right? And there were shots like that in this movie where it just didn't make sense why they were walking like that. And little things like that get under my skin so quickly.
Yeah.
I thought that the way that the story unfolds was stupid. I didn't like the plot could have worked, I guess, but the way that they did it just didn't really make sense. It felt like they gave you something right at the beginning and then go through like almost an hour of other stuff, and then they give you a point where it would have made more sense if that was just later in the movie. Like, it didn't make sense to give you this and then like go somewhere else for like so long and then come back, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, the trailer, and I knew this was the case, but it still pisses me off. The trailer was literally like the climax of the movie. Like everything
the
that
entire
happens,
movie.
everything that happens like in the final like confrontation was in the trailer. That's not a good move in my opinion, right? I don't think the characters that they gave the most screen time had good chemistry with one another. I feel like the reason the first one, it was campy and blah, 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 right? But I think the reason that it worked so well was because even though Zachary Levi's Shazam does not match with Billy Batson, his chemistry with...
It's like Jack. Is his name Jack? Jack
Grazer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great.
Their chemistry was awesome, right? It was funny. It worked. And they don't get a whole lot of screen time with one another because Jack kind of goes off and does his own thing for half the movie, right? And it just doesn't... Yeah.
Jeff.
What?
Jeff. That's
Jeff?
That's a spoiler.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. I was like, no, his name is Jack. Anyways, all that to say, I did not have... I think there are a lot of things that we have chastised superhero movies for doing, and this movie does almost all of them.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know if it was going to be one thing, and then they, like at the last second, said, shit, we need to change some things because things are changing in the studio. Like, I don't know. But the product... to be the same studio and the same director, like the whole movie to me was lower in quality, which maybe we've been spoiled the past month because the John Wick movies didn't go down in quality, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't have a good time watching this. I actively disliked it the entire time I was watching.
And that's something that I'm not going to say that much because I had some laughs and it got me a few times. And I wasn't like, oh, this is awful, I'm miserable, but I wasn't like, I guess.
Did you care about anybody at the end?
Not really.
Like, did you care about any character in the movie?
I could have cared about one.
But you did. You could have.
In the sense of like, I find this person's story could have been more interesting to me, and that's not even really fair because the actual main character, Billy, like his story could have been more interesting if I feel like it was done a different way. But not really. There's even a part where like one character, which I'm not gonna spoil anything, you think somebody's dead, or they are actually. And
you're spoiling something.
Okay.
I think
I'll say it after we do movie minute then.
Okay.
But no, like I wasn't like, there wasn't one person where I was like, oh, I'm like all in on this person's like arc.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some where I was like, I could have been, but instead I'll just sort of hang out and kind of see what happens. But yeah. Anyway, it's your turn to do movie a minute. So
yeah, so
pull up an online stopwatch because it's time to do movie in a minute. It's gonna be fun because I think it's funny when Zach has to do movies he hates, and he really, really doesn't like Shazam 2. But he's gotta relive it all in a minute. Yeah.
All right.
You have 60 seconds to fill, my friend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And please, go into as much detail as you can. I want you to relive this entire experience.
Okay. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. This is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Movie in a minute in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so we're in Athens, Greece. These two gods, Hespera and Calypso, they're the daughters of Atlas. They fucking Pompeii everybody and steal 2 pieces of this staff that the guy at the museum said was a replica, which, anyways, we'll get past that. We go back to Philadelphia. Billy Batson and the Shazamily are like doing things, and they're saving people on the bridge, but they don't like them. But it's not really explained because, like, I don't know. It's tried to do the Superman thing. Anyways, so Freddie meets this girl named Anne at school. Turns out her name's actually Anthea. Ooh, that was a big reveal. Stupid. And they find out that the daughters of Atlas are trying to like get a golden fruit so they can like regrow their realm because Shazam the wizard like did something and they went away. Anyways, there's a fucking dragon fight. Everyone, and then Billy dies, but he doesn't because surprise, no one dies in this world. That was a minute. How'd I
Amazing.
do?
Perfect.
Cool.
You did incredible. I was going to say, I meant to say this in, actually this ties into the last thing I was saying during the spoiler-free thing about how you actively had a bad time, and I was like, while I wasn't having a bad time, do you know what things got me like the most excited where I was like, oh, cool, was when I was like, oh, that's Atlanta. Like that, there's that whole scene where they're like on top of the like parking deck, and that's like downtown. Right. I was like, oh, sick, that's downtown.
Yeah. Yep.
And there's like when they have the meeting, I'm pretty sure it's Summerhill, which is right by Georgia State Stadium. And I was like,
I think you're right.
I was like, it's a barbecue place. I ate there once.
Right.
So those things where I was like, oh, cool. Like, that's not a good sign if that's what I'm most excited about. While I love Atlanta, I was like, that should be like, oh, neat, instead of like, oh, well, there's something that I can be into.
Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and say, because you've said it in spoilers, what I was trying to say before him, or you said it was a spoiler, because you are right, it probably was that when Billy dies, because he actually does die, I guess.
For like literally 2 minutes of film time.
No, yes, I understand that, but I'm saying like if nobody had helped, he would have stayed dead theoretically.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that was it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like, oh shit, they killed him. Like wow.
Right.
I was oh, okay.
You know what my thought was?
Hold on. Sorry. What's funny is that the entire time I kept thinking, is he really dead?
Right. I was thinking they're gonna bring him back. They're gonna do some stupid shit where the dirt moves or something. Right. I didn't think I thought he would be brought back in like a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Not like in the movie itself. Because why kill him at that point? Like there's no impact. I mean, we've had this conversation oodles of times.
Also, let's just go ahead and say it. It's Wonder Woman who brings him back, which they spoiled that part in the trailer. They literally, if you watch, like there's a few trailers. If you watch, one trailer has the actual shot where she summons the like she powers up the staff again.
Right.
That shot's in it, and then the shot of that where she says "6 to saving the world" or whatever. So both scenes are in it. Also, it's a loophole because earlier in the movie they say that she's a demigod, and Shazam says there's no gods left, and
there's no gods left.
There's one, and it's like, no, I thought you were a demigod. Are you actually a god? And that was like, where'd she fucking come from? Like, what is she doing there?
Right. Yeah. That's a good question too. Although, were they in Greece? Did they go back to Greece to bury him for some reason?
They're in some like realm. They're at the place that they're in a realm. Remember, because that's the place that I don't know their names. Calypso and
the daughters of Atlas. They were at that place.
That's where they were. Yeah, because remember it was it was all barren and stuff. And then one was like, "You brought this land back to life," or whatever her fucking accent is. Sorry, I can't do it.
So yeah, how did she get there? That's the
how did she
question.
know? Was she just like that's so? Hold on, I'm gonna call this out in all superhero films, in all films actually, but it happens a lot in superhero films. When that happens, when someone's just like there, it's like, were you just following us, or have you been stalking us? How do you get your information? You know what I mean? Like what's going on? Anyway, that's the very end. We can start over and go to the beginning. if you want.
So the guy in the museum, I swear, like I saw this today, but I swear he said the word replica.
He did.
And then, yeah, he did?
He
Okay.
did.
So it makes you think that what's in the glass box is not the actual staff, right? It's a replica.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's meant, in my opinion, to show that they don't actually know what they have.
Oh, maybe.
It's
Okay.
sort of like in BVS when like the guy's showing Wonder Woman the sword that cut the Gordian knot or whatever, and he's like, "It's amazing," and Batman's like, "It's a fake." Except this time it's the opposite, and they're like, "This is a fake. Why is it in a museum then?
Right.
If it's a fake?"
Right. I didn't like that was the first thing that we see, because I'm like, okay, who the fuck are these chicks?
Yeah.
Also, like, just like, right from the beginning, the way that this movie delivered information was weird. Like, it's like you see these two, like, you know, like Roman style warriors, and the dude's like, sir, two men,
Yeah.
stop, men. And then they take off their helmets and they got long hair, and it's like, oh, it's like, really? I don't know. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Did that?
Yeah, there were some things where it felt really clunky.
Yeah.
Like I would have rather checked it and started out with the Shazamily doing some hijinks or something. You know what
Sure.
I'm saying? Like started out like on upbeat. What's funny is that I didn't mind that scene. The dialogue's super weird. Like the one line that was to me was like, this is an odd inclusion. Was when that same guy who was doing the like, oh, museum, look, it's fun, aha, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At the very end, after people have been killed and, you know, possessed or whatever, then he comes running up and he's like, just let me go.
Please let me go.
Like
And
that
it's
was
like,
that line,
doesn't fit.
that framing and the delivery was super weird.
Yeah.
That was like, I remember making note of that being like, that didn't make any sense. That didn't,
Yeah.
not even that didn't make sense, but it was like, this was not needed in any way. Like,
No, and then they
Who is
turn
he?
him into sand statue, and then
yeah,
they just like
and
push him
knock
all
him over. Like,
What?
that's all fine. And frankly, like, there's that one scene where like the woman's like laying on her back and she like contorts a little bit. That shows his horror. Like that stuff I thought was fine. It was good, but
Mm-hmm.
it was like it was a very obvious. I want to have a reason to knock this person down as a statue and him crumble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it just
They wanted that shot. How do we get there? And they chose the worst.
it
worst.
would have been better if they just did it because they're evil. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
never even like a good motive, but just be like they're just so bad that they don't give a shit. But for him to step out and be like, because he said it in a way that he was like, just let me go. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like at least to me, it came across like he was saying, I don't care about them, just let me go. And I was like, who are you?
Right.
Like, what? Because you're the museum tour guide.
Yeah.
You're gonna say something. Go on. Sorry.
I mean, there's a lot that I can say. It's never really clear to me because both Hespera and Calypso appear to be like straight up evil, don't give a fuck about humanity at the beginning, right? And then as the movie goes on, one of them appears to just be like, kill all humans, and the other one appears to be like, nah, let's just get our apple and go home.
Well, the film would have benefited from, like, I don't know. I think the whole
I didn't even know what that apple was for the majority. Like, it was a black apple, and it was set on the
And then
table.
it
You know what I mean?
turned-
Sorry,
yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Continue what you were saying.
You're fine. I was saying in the sense of like, definitely in the first half of the film, Hespera, is that her name?
There's Hespera and Calypso.
So,
let me figure out which one is
Helen
which.
Mirren.
Helen Mirren is Hespera.
Yeah, she is definitely painted as this like, as frankly the leader and the most ruthless.
Right.
Calypso's kind of painted as like a trigger happy kind of henchman type thing, but there is not really any pretense as to Hespera being empathetic in any way.
Right.
You know, so at some point there should have been some sort of disclosure of, in a natural way, of their plan, because throughout the film, when you find out that Anthea is a sister, and surprise, surprise, she is empathetic because she likes Freddie.
After meeting him for like 15 minutes. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe it had
yeah.
been like an afternoon, right? But
Yeah, who knows? Well, no, I think it had been like a day or two, because I remember he talks to Billy about her. But even still, right? Even still, but she mentions a lot like, this was not our plan. It's not what we agreed to. We just wanted to get our realm back, and it's like, I would have liked seeing somewhere where they had said like, here's what we're trying to do, maybe a flashback. I don't know, but saying like, okay, we'll show that Calypso's reluctant and be like, well, we should just wipe him out. And they're like, no, you know. I don't know. And Hesperia could say like, we'll take out who we need to, but our goal is to get the champions.
yeah.
I don't know. It was odd, because then by the end, she's like, is a good guy, essentially.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Yeah. She's like, hot damn, you killed my sister. Haha.
Yeah, because then her last line of the film is delivered as like some sister rivalry, and it's like, what?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Hunter,
not, you know.
you're getting on board. This
Well, no,
movie
but like,
sucks.
I totally get it. Like, there's a lot of bad where she's like, yes, like something sister, and she just dies, and it's like, you say that like you had been trying to stop her.
right.
Like, she stabbed you in the back, literally, and you were on board. You put the dome there, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you,
yeah.
I don't know.
So, what the hell were their powers? Because one of
That was
them
my
is like
next thing.
one of them is the like god of elements, but she can create force fields, and also like, I don't know. At certain points, it's like she makes like gravity fields. Is that
She can, like,
elemental?
freeze people. I don't know.
Seems like she could do everything. And then the other one
Because
was like the god of chaos.
Power of chaos.
But all she did was
which-
like whisper in people's ears and make them kill themselves. Which,
yeah, which
by the way, this is not a family movie if you have someone's high school teacher jumping off a fucking building and then looking over the edge and saying, he popped like a grape.
yeah, I was about to say, like, she says, I forgot how they burst. Like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that I feel like this film, I mean, like, I would have actually, man, you know, it's interesting. And, you know, Shazam, I get why they went the route they did in the past two films of being like this, almost like big with the superhero type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got some really dark stuff. And with someone like Sandberg, I would see not a horror movie, but like a more mature,
Yeah.
you know, take on the character.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then Anthea is just Doctor Strange. Is that what she is?
Right.
She's
yeah,
got the
she
power of
just, like,
access. So she can, is basically, is that like her teleporting? Like, she can just change her surroundings? Is that what it is?
No, it wasn't just her surroundings. It was everybody, because she makes Shazam fly into the building. Remember?
That's right. Because it looks like she's just Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, she can change her position, because she does when her sister's trying to take her power away. So she goes and she like
And then it
teleports
just
away,
keeps
and she's
going,
like,
yeah.
I'm safe. And then the beam comes through anyways, and it's like, what the fuck is your power? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you just, yeah, it is interesting. And it's just like, I don't know. Go on.
And the fact that the staff was just like this game of tag where it's like, you don't have powers. Shazam! I have powers again. You don't have powers. I don't know. That's...
It's convenient. I mean, it's convenient, you know. It was something where it was like, the things that got me were just silly, where it was like, hey, we know that she can use the staff to take our powers.
Mm-hmm.
And then they like try to ambush her or whatever, or like they try and fight, and then she's just like zap, 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 zap. And I was like,
Right.
Did nobody
Yeah.
prepare? Did nobody say move out of the way? Like
Yeah.
the
Not only
one
that,
guy,
the quick girl, the fast girl gets hit.
look,
It's like,
I'm sorry. This is where to me it gets into like the super cringy realm is where it's like, look, I know Darla is this sweet little innocent girl,
Mm-hmm.
and I get that their adult counterparts are supposed to be like the kids
Them.
themselves, but it's like the adult version is just like they're just overacting
Yeah.
because like the adult Darla, it's in no way.
It's not Darla.
It's not Darla. It's like an exaggerated version, and it's like maybe it's just the odd thing of like seeing a grown woman talk like that, but it's like it feels like someone trying to be goofy instead of Darla just being Darla. Like I'd rather her just talk like a normal adult woman and just be kind of silly, but instead it's really squeaky and it's just like Shazam where he's like he's stupid. It's like what they've done to Thor. They made him like a moron. But when he's Billy, he's he's frankly more mature as Billy than he is as Shazam.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like none of them dodge the woman where they say, "Hey, just don't get hit by that beam," and they're like, "Oh, okay, I'm just gonna stand in one place," you know.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the shit, Hunter. They talk about magic can kill magic, right? And it's like, okay, cool. So he's vulnerable to this dragon fire, and then he just flies through it anyways.
I was thinking that too. Where I was like, okay, but is his suit like invincible then? Because he flew into the like I was like his
Twice,
suit didn't
like
his
more
suit
than
didn't
once.
even it didn't even fully get burned. You know,
Right.
it just kind of got like singed. I don't know. That was an odd. There are some interesting plot holes. Like that's one where I was like. Also, I was we meet the dragon, right? And they're like the dragon paralyzes you with fear. It's like Medusa, and then you're stuck, and then you're dead. And then it doesn't do that again for the entire film.
Doesn't do it to anybody. There's all these
And then
civilians
yes,
like running
yeah.
away, and
And then it waits until it's Calypso, no, not Calypso, until it's Freddy and Anne.
and Thea.
And
Yeah.
then they try and do it. And also, like, look,
And
this was
Calypso's up top, just going, hey, kill them. And then it
See,
doesn't work, and she's like,
there was
kill
something-
them more.
And what's frustrating is that's Lucy Liu, right? She's a great
Yeah,
actress.
and she's great. So
But-
she's great. She sucked in this movie.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren's great. Helen Mirren sucked in this movie. Something was going on where the life was just sucked out of these people. You know what I mean?
Like, there was something that happened to like Lucy Liu's voice. At least to me, it felt like where like at the end, she talked like this or something like that, where she was like,
That was her turning more evil, Hunter.
"No," and I was like, "What's happening to her voice?"
That's the evil voice.
It was just interesting, you know, like, and what's funny is that the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this movie's not very good. But I have to say, to me, this movie was Freddy's movie. Like,
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think that there's a very fascinating story in the first 5 minutes when he's seeing his pediatrician, which is it's a funny little scene.
Mm-hmm.
When he talks about all the shit that he's gone through and seen, yeah, like that family dynamic is fascinating and is important and is emotional, and that actually I think would be a really good film. But it's something that Marvel does this. A lot of films do this, and it's not a good thing. Is that they make it a joke. You know, like, oh, he's hanging on too tight. Oh, Billy, you know, and it's just like sort of touched on here and there. But it's like I want to see that emotional turmoil because he's probably terrified that he's gonna get abandoned, his family's gonna leave, and he's gonna push them away first. You know, Mary wants to go to college.
That
You know?
emotional turmoil was in the first movie, Hunter. If
Exactly.
you recall,
Yes,
like
yes.
it was
The whole
in there.
scene with his mom when he goes and finds his mom.
Yeah.
And so they squandered that. But then I thought, okay, well, here's Freddy, this guy who's handicapped. He's picked on, but he always has this pep in his step. He's funny. He's a nerd and knows it. He's goofy. And then he can say one word and he can fly. And he's a literal superhero.
Yeah.
And so what is that going to do to a person? Like, how are they going to handle that when they know that they can say this word and all their ailments are gone? And then if they lose that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's an interesting story too. And it's like, there's a line where he says, I just say a word so I can act like I'm not broken. there's so much to unpack like in that sentence, and it's like they did enough to say that they have it in the movie, but they don't ever explore it.
Yeah,
And that's why
that's right.
frankly, I really enjoyed. I know you said you implied that they didn't have any chemistry, and I would agree to an extent, but I enjoyed Freddy and the Wizard. Like, I enjoyed Freddy actually doing stuff and like.
Why
I
is the
will
wizard
say-
alive?
Hold on a
Why-
second. I will say, and let me see if you caught this. Freddy's limp is very inconsistent.
Yeah,
He'll like jog away for a second and then have a limp.
Right.
And I'm like, hold on a second.
Right,
I
right.
thought you literally couldn't walk. But like, there's little goofy things when he, I just thought that was kind of fun. Because at that point I was like, well, just give me jokes, I guess. Like when he's like, all right, thanks, Jeff. He's like, you just call me Jeff. But yeah, the wizard, I'm not sure how he's still alive.
Yeah, so wizard dies, like gets disintegrated, and then the wizard is at whatever the realm is. We don't even know the name of the realm. We don't even know the name, Hunter.
The realm of the gods.
The labyrinth that has been mapped out, right? And Freddy's like, "Oh shit, you're the wizard. How are you alive? Billy said that you were dead." And he was just like, something, death would be too good for me. They stuck me here. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, if you die and just get teleported here, what happens when these gods die? Like, where do they go? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell happened? Can we explain this? And it never gets explained. And at the end, he just shaves his beard and gets a suit. And they're like, "Oh, look and fly, man." And he's like, "Haha, I'm going to go on vacation." And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
See
like,
you, Jeff.
Yeah. I don't know. It's frustrating because I remember seeing the trailer and seeing him in it and being like, he died. They have to
Yeah.
explain that. And they just didn't.
What's
Hunter.
funny is like there's this weird obsession with like what is my superhero name, and it's like, bro, how can it be any more obvious?
Right.
It's Shazam.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like it's just. Also, hold on a second. I just realized all those people that she possessed in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to them?
They all got turned to stone.
Yeah, but like all of them, or like, does she ever do that again?
The stone
Why is that
thing?
power? What I'm saying, like, why is that power not used again? I don't know.
She
I
uses
hate
it to
that.
make. She used it to
The
make
guy-
his teacher kill
yes.
himself, and
then-
she tried to
and then
use it
she-
against Freddy to get Freddy to tell them the name of, like,
But
say,
he
Billy
was-
Batson, essentially.
Yeah, he was Ray and she was Kylo Ren. It was that whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
Which like that's funny where he's like my mind's trash. So please, but I don't know. Like it gets frustrating. It's just like the dragon where it's like they have this one power that's really convenient for one specific like certain thing, and then later in the film when it could have been useful, they don't even mention it.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the creatures? Like I appreciated that they were actual like mythology creatures, sirens, cyclopses, minotaurs.
That was fine.
And I like the horror look of them.
Sure. I don't know. It doesn't like it's fine that they were there. I don't understand how the fuck they got there. Like the roots of
Yeah.
the tree of life just created minotaurs and shit. Like
Well, they had said like I think Anthea had said like this it's not meant for this world, so it's wilted and created it's turned monstrous. I was like, okay.
So if that is the case, then how is it that all of in assuming that the tree of life was not previously planted in the realm of men, right? How do we like why were they the Cyclops of legend? Like you see what I'm saying? Like where did the Cyclops of legend come from if it wasn't from planting this one specific golden fucking apple in the ground in
Must have
Citizens
been-
Bank Park, you
must
know?
have-
Like
Must have been before they sealed off the realm of the gods.
I guess. I don't know. I'd like to think that if they planted it in Truist Park, it would have been like beautiful mermaids and stuff. But because it was fucking Philly,
It was the
it was
Phillies.
just like the most
It was
like
the Phillies.
depraved.
Also, I want to say something, and maybe I'm off base here, but to me, the revelation that I don't know his name. Let me look up his name.
The revelation that unicorns like Skittles.
No, we'll get to that. Pedro,
Okay.
I think. Yes. The fact that Pedro is gay, I think when he like says it, that's a funny scene where like, tell me the truth, and he's like, I'm gay, and they're all just like, yeah, we know. For some reason, the thing with him looking at the like
The Phillies player with no
naked
shirt on.
dude, yeah, like to me for some reason that was strange to me. I don't know why.
I mean, it's fine. It's just extremely on the nose, right?
Yeah, it just felt strange. I don't know. I think it was
Okay.
just maybe jarring. Like I think it would have been funnier, and it shouldn't even been funny. Like I think it just would have been like, why I didn't need that setup. You know what I mean? Like just
Right.
have that be his truth. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, we already know that. Whatever. I don't know. That was just odd to me. I was going to say something, but I forgot what it was. Oh, okay, yeah, the Skittles. What did you think? What did you think of the Skittles?
That was so fucking dumb, man. Like, she's like, oh, ambrosia? I know what's like ambrosia. Fucking Skittles, bitch. And so she feeds him the Skittles. And then they're riding the unicorns, and this, like, 9-year-old girl says, taste the rainbow, motherfuckers. Did you catch that? Like,
Yes.
it didn't even make me laugh, Hunter. It made me angry. Like,
I loved when...
because that's product placement, right?
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Like...
So much.
Skittles is paying them to be a big part of the plot of this movie. Like,
well, it's funny because like it was funny the first time when she like gave the Skittles to the thing and she was just like, taste the rainbow. I was like, haha, funny. And then she says it again. She says, I was just like, we get it. We know.
yeah,
I actually, the Skittles thing I thought was stupid, but I actually really kind of got a chuckle out of the unicorns being the like most feared monster of all time. I was like, that's hilarious. I love that. And like how the wizard was like, oh no, the unicorns, man, they're, and like the like Cyclops gets just like stabbed to death immediately by a unicorn. That's fine, but it was like, I was like, Skittles are not even the best candy. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not even the best candy. I don't know.
What'd you think about? What'd you think about Steven the pen?
Thought it was very convenient.
Did you know it was Andy Serkis?
What? Like his hand? I was
I'm
about to be
fucking
like, what? He's mastered all types of mocap. He's a pimp.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I got a chuckle out of the letter. When she's like reading it, and it's like everything. Like literally, that's fine. That's funny. But I just think that stuff is like. I think it's convenient, and I think it's really stupid how they make it a point to point out that I think it's Eugene has been mapping out the entire Rock of Eternity, and one didn't know about Steven, but Pedro did, like out of just nowhere. But two, when we get to a part of the film where we need to know what door to go through, he doesn't know.
Well, he says don't go in that one. It's just a labyrinth. So he just didn't think it was important.
Oh, that's right. Fair enough. I don't know. That was just odd to me. I was like, it felt like I was like, I thought this is what we needed to set this up for. You know what I mean? But you're right.
What'd you think about Billy's wet dream? His Wonder Woman dream. I thought that was the cameo, and I was like, what the fuck? That's why I texted you, and I was like, this is the worst cameo.
Yeah. Which that's funny because
that was the scene that made me think that they made some last minute changes, right? Because there were these rumors that Gal Gadot wasn't actually on set, right? And then they were like, that's not true. It was her. And like if that was the only scene, I would have believed the rumors because she doesn't talk, you don't see her face, like nothing, right?
Well, it would have been like a repeat of the Superman thing, like the headless Superman.
You just get Superman's like waist.
Yeah. I thought it was silly, kind of. You know what I mean? Like whatever. I was like, oh, that's funny, I guess. I don't know. Like I got more laughs out of like one-liners and quick, little wit responses usually from Freddy, or like silly stuff where like he steals I actually got a chuckle out of when he steals the staff and then throws it to Freddy and throws it right to Calypso. I was like, that to me was funny because, but like that again doesn't make a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
And those were like slapstick humor where it's like, oh, that's something funny that you did or said.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a good comedy. Like you can see a bad comedy and get a chuckle here and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The only joke that made me laugh the whole movie was the ongoing wisdom of Solo Man, and then
Yeah.
at one point he's like I got the wisdom of Saruman. It's just that got me. That was the only joke that got me.
But see, the thing is that,
but like you said, Zachary Levi is like clearly dumber than Billy Batson, like the young Billy. So it just doesn't line up, right?
You're
it's
telling
like
me that an 18-year-old
why would the
kid
wisdom?
can't. Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking over you. Sorry.
No, you
But
go.
I was gonna say, like you're saying that an 18-year-old kid can't say Solomon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
We
Also,
need to talk.
Go on, yeah.
No, because I was about to do close-up stuff. I wanted to go to the post-credit scenes, but
I was gonna say I had
yeah.
one last little loophole that I thought where I realized I was like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Then, is that they reveal themselves to their parents, right? That they're the Philly Fiascos. Okay, Mary looks the exact same.
Yeah. Yep.
If my son was flying around in a superhero costume and looked the exact same, I recognize him. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I had never thought of that until that scene. I was like, wait a second, you would know she looks as. And I get like
the crazy
she's an
thing
adult.
is they're watching them on TV, and the dad is like that guy reminds me of Eugene. It's like how Eugene just like sits on the couch and plays video games.
Yeah.
I don't know, like of all of them, I was like, why does he remind you of Eugene? Like what?
Yeah.
Eugene
Also,
doesn't move.
There's scenes where like, look, it was so dumb. Where like, I was like, surely she's not this stupid. When he was like, you want to meet one of superheroes? So then he leaves, and then he shows up, and then he doesn't come back, and it's like, use your brain.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what I mean? Like use it, and then she's like, "It's Freddy," and it's like, "Yo, Freddy had to literally leave your presence," and then the superhero shows up, and then while the superhero's here, Freddy never comes back. So what do you think?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Anyway, we can do the close-up stuff.
Why is this like multi-thousand-year-old woman into an underage boy? That's a little sus.
What's funny is that a film actually finally like made a comment about it because the dad's like, "That's suddenly really inappropriate."
Yeah, but then it continues, and then they're like eating dinner and they're holding hands.
Yes, you are right. You are right. It's still there, and like the whole like the your biggest superpower about you is that you're you. Like I was like. Okay,
that was
saying
stupid.
saying that the first time is like, okay, it's cringy, whatever. But then saying it again, and I was like, all right, like we know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we can wrap up post credit scenes. I will admit to you, I didn't stay and watch them.
Oh, really? Do you know what happens?
I know. Are there two?
There's two.
I know about one at least. I know that Harcourt and the other dude from Peacemaker show up to recruit him.
Yeah, into the Justice Society. There's a little joke because they say justice, and he's like, I'm in, because he thinks he's going to be in the same group as Wonder Woman, and he has a crush on Wonder Woman now. And they're like, oh, cool, so you'll report to the Justice Society on Monday. And he's like, Justice Society? Why are there two things that have justice in them? You should change it. We should go with the Avengers Society. And then that's the end of the scene.
Is that what he says for real?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then the
you catch
second one.
Sorry, did you catch the Captain Marvel reference?
Yeah, I don't remember.
There's
Was it when he came down and they were like, "Yeah, good job, Captain Marvel," like in the city?
Yeah. So the funny thing is that for anybody who doesn't know, this is actually kind of a clever little Easter egg. Shazam used to be called Captain Marvel back in like the 30s and 40s, 50s and stuff. And then when Marvel became Marvel, they literally just ripped off the name. They stole it. And so DC changed it to Shazam. But the guy who said that played Billy Batson on like a show in like the 60s or 70s. He played like a young Billy Batson, and he used to wear that same sweater. So, and when he played the character, he was called Captain Marvel. So that's just kind of like, oh, cool.
Cool.
Anyway, what was the
Sucks he was in such a shitty movie.
What was the second post-credit scene?
The second post-credit scene is interesting. I know we're already getting to time, but I do want to talk about this a little bit. The second post-credit scene is Dr. Sivana. Is that his name, right?
Yeah.
Sivana? I don't know.
Savannah.
Didn't we rip out an eye in the last movie? Because in the post-credit scene, he has two eyes. He has both his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like going crazy in like a padded room. There's scribbles all over the wall, just like we've seen. Was that at the end of Shazam, or is this another?
I feel like I've seen this.
Okay, and Mr. Mind, the little caterpillar, shows up. He's like, ah ha ha. You're still gonna have to wait. I'm not gonna tell you anything. And then he's just like, son of a. So it was basically just the same fucking scene from the last one, just a little different, right? The reason it's interesting though is because David Sandberg did an interview or something and basically said that the original intent for this movie was to be a Mr. Mind led plot, but it would have been too much. It would have been too much story, I guess. So instead of that, they just like teased him again at the end and said, "You're gonna have to wait for the third one," which is not going to happen.
So you're telling me that if this moved forward, they still were not going to do a Black Adam and Shazam movie? Because David Sandberg has also said, because some stuff came out recently, you know, how The Rock is the one who like blocked everything. Like they wanted to have Hawkman and so show up in this movie, and The Rock blocked it. They wanted to have Shazam show up in Black Adam in the post credits scene, and The Rock said no. So The Rock kind of killed both of these. Mm-hmm. And David Sandberg even said, like, yeah, the ultimate goal is to have them fight because they come from one another, like they're eternally linked. So you're saying that they still, like, The Rock still wouldn't have. That's insane, dude. That is an absolute joke. I've always liked The Rock for the most part, but good God, dude, get over yourself. You literally sign up to play Shazam's villain, and you're going to try and usurp that and be like, actually, he's not even a bad guy because I can't lose, and it's going to be about me and Superman. No one gives a shit about Black Adam. I'm sorry.
I agree, but we weren't talking about Black Adam.
Well, no, but I'm saying to tease Mr. Mind again.
Yeah.
And say that
I see what you're saying. So, like, if there's another one, it's not even going to involve Black Adam. You're still
not even going to get to the actual main bad guy. Right. That's a joke, dude. That's a joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about Shazam that much, but I really don't care about Mr. Mind. I don't know who that is.
It's a little worm.
Yes, I know because I saw the first one. But the only character that I thought that I knew of with Shazam was Black Adam. So I thought they were going to do Mr. Mind in the second one, and then I thought, oh, by the third one they're probably going to do Black Adam because that's what you would do. Because that is they're forever linked. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. I think it's ridiculous.
It's okay. You can stay up there as long as you want.
This movie, look, I frankly have liked the cast for the most part. I've liked Zachary Levi, but there's no way that they get carried over because by the time they make another Shazam movie, the kids are going to be like 25.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just start over. Anyway, do you have to ask me a certain question now?
Hunter. But was the best part of this movie when they blew up the Phillies stadium?
Yes. Go Braves.
Go Braves. No, Hunter. But is Shazam Fury of the or hold on, Shazam, because it has an exclamation. Fury of the Gods good?
No. It's not. It can be fun if you let it be, but even still, it's not. You're not really going to be invested. At its absolute best, it is fine, and I say that because it's better than Black Adam.
Okay.
It's better than Black Adam and better than Quantumania, which is not saying much at all, because both those films were not good. So to me, this movie is like, I think it scores accurate. I would give it like a 50. It's like right in the middle of the road, but still rotten.
Okay.
What about you?
This film sucks. This film sucks. It sucks. I have this film in the 30s, like a 35.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
That's all I'm going to say about it.
Do you want to read some bad reviews?
I'd love to.
Okay. This says, Colby Sorensen says, I left the theater and asked the projectionist to wipe the dog shit off the lens. Turns out that was just the movie.
That's fun. Ooh. Oh, goodness. Tyler says, just when I thought the DCEU couldn't get any worse, they had to go and ruin Skittles for me. Here's another one. Theo says, is this a 130-minute long Skittles advertisement?
Pretty much, yeah.
Siddharth says, I need Zachary Levi out of his job immediately.
Oh, that's rude. But, I mean, I get what he's saying. This one says, and I'm not sure if I get this reference. This says, if Millennials were a film, this would be it. I'm gonna do one more.
I'm gonna do one more too, but you can go.
I'm trying to find one. Let me see here. Half star. It is very unclear to me how they could have made this any worse.
Here's a review. Alex Coleman says, to put it simple, click here. And then if you click on the link, it's a picture of Kevin Hart looking very confused. It's just like, huh?
I can get that. I can see that. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, there you go. There is Shazam. I'm crashing. Sorry.
It's perfect timing because it's time for your shindig, Hunter. This is Hunter's news shindig. We're gonna name it right now because we've just been calling it your shindig. It is called Hunter's.
Welcome to Hunter's.
He just breathes on you.
All right, first up in Hunter's. I've got a ton of news, so I'm going to try and work through this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sticking with DC, Blue Beetle dropped a teaser today.
Yep.
And the full trailer comes out tomorrow, which is Monday, which is the day that this comes out. So today, when you're listening to this, Blue Beetle is dropping a trailer. Again, another one of those weird in-between. Who knows? Where it is. Let's see here. I'll stick with some more DC while I have it. David Ayer keeps sharing new looks at Jared Leto's Joker from the Ayer cut because, of course, he does. Here's one that's going to make everybody roll their eyes. The unseen... So, in the Snyder cut, Zack Snyder shot a scene with Green Lantern, and Warner Bros. Said you can't use it because we're going to do that for a show. Apparently, the unseen Wayne Carr Green Lantern scene is apparently going to be shown at SnyderCon. So, this is happening.
Should we care? Does it matter?
Don't know. Clayface is apparently rumored to be a big part of the Batman 2, which is kind of exciting. Let me see here. I had something else. Okay,
Joaquin Phoenix fainted on set while
I didn't know
filming
that.
Beau is
Joker?
Afraid.
Oh wow, Beau's Afraid. I want to do that movie. Now I'm just gonna go down this list. Okay, so Elizabeth Olsen and Jesse Plemons star in the new HBO Love and Death trailer. Got a new poster for The Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes because we're getting a new Hunger Games movie. Apparently, didn't realize that. Rose Byrne and Seth Rogen reunite. They're from Neighbors in the new Apple TV show Platonic. Jonathan Majors has been in the news recently. He was arrested for strangulation and domestic abuse. There's been some. They've said that she's recanted the story. It's kind of gone quiet. I'm not sure what's happened in that. But he has a new film called Magazine Dreams that is being released on December 8th. The fifth and final season of You, which I'm not sure if you watch You on Netflix, it's a pretty good show, has been announced for 2024. There's a new trailer for Tommy Wiseau. I don't know how to say his name. His film Big Shark. It's his first film since The Room, which is considered one of the worst films of all time, and it made him famous. Have you seen that stuff, like those clips of that movie? It's
Nope.
really funny. Like, it's awful. Air, which I think we're doing in the next week or two, has debuted at 100% fresh, which is Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. I think Ben Affleck directed it. Here we go. Netflix is doing a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always movie with the original cast coming back. It's a trailer for that. A horse died on the set of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, and now PETA is petitioning Amazon to stop using animals in the filming. Sorry, I've got a ton. I've still got a lot left. Robert Downey Jr. and Robert Pattinson are rumored to be starring together as a cop and a serial killer in Average Height, Average Build. Questlove is set to direct live-action Aristocrats movie for Disney+.
Aristocrats or Aristocats?
Aristocats, sorry. Liv Tyler is returning to the MCU as Betty Ross in the new Captain America 4. Here's one that made me roll my eyes. I thought there's no way, but I guess it's real. Robert Downey Jr. is set to star in a remake of Hitchcock's Vertigo.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is wild. Donnie Yen said he would love to do a Kane spinoff. John Wick 5 is back on the table at Lionsgate because it's done so well, which I think is a terrible idea. But you know what? I don't make those decisions. Ryan Coogler is developing a diverse reboot of The X-Files. Demetrius Gross has been cast as Grim Reaper in MCU's Wonder Man. Karen Sony and Leslie Uggams are set to return in Deadpool 3. Captain America 4 is catching some heat for basically being The Incredible Hulk 2 because Thunderbolt Ross is in it, Betty Ross is in it, and Tim Blake Nelson's The Leader are all coming back. Almost done. The entire cast of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is returning for a Netflix Scott Pilgrim animated series. Bill Skarsgård says he is currently not involved in the It prequel. Josh Friedman, who wrote Avatar: The Way of Water, is set to write the script for the MCU's Fantastic Four. And then two more things. Marvel has fired their president of VFX and animation. And after that, it came out that she was once quoted as saying to the director of one of the biggest movies Marvel has ever done, she said, directors don't deserve credit because they don't direct these films. We direct these films. So she sucks. And then I just got to send out one more thing. There's a new movie coming out by Wes Anderson called Asteroid City, and I've got to read this cast to you. Have you seen this cast list yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, and then I'm done. Here we go. Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Adrian Brody, Liev Schreiber, Hope Davis, Stephen Park, Rupert Friend, Maya Hawke, Steve Carell, Matt Dillon, Hong Chow, Willem Dafoe, Margot Robbie, Tony Revolori, Jack Ryan, and Jeff Goldblum. Good God, dude.
That's a lot of money that you're spending right there.
Yeah, it better be incredible. But we all know what happened to Amsterdam. Amsterdam was apparently trash. It had an incredible cast.
That's what I was going to say. Amsterdam had quite the cast, and it sucked, apparently. I haven't seen it. I still haven't seen Amsterdam.
Yeah, me neither. Anyway, that's all I've got. Zach, baseball's here. Give us a brave minute.
Baseball is back, baby. The Braves started off the season 2-0, and then today looking very strong. They scored 7 runs per game, and then today today being Sunday, lost to the Nationals 4-1. I believe the score was.
It was over in the first inning.
Schuster had a rough beginning. Shit like that's going to happen with a young pitcher. It's a really good sign to me that he was able to clamp it down, and he pitched like 4 or 5 innings.
Good.
So it's not like they just took him right out, right? He came back out and pitched pretty well.
I think third game of the year, you just do it. It's your game, buddy.
Well, sure, but what I'm saying is he could have come out and shit the bed again because he went through the entire order in the first inning. Yeah. So second inning, he's back at the top of the order, and it could have been bad, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, it was not. So, Max Fried's already he's not on the IL yet, but he's going to be placed on the IL. So, Snicker, I don't know if you watched that video I sent you. He was doing the interview, and they were asking him like, how long is he going to be on the IL? And he's like, I don't know. That's an Alex Anthopoulos question. And they're like, who are you looking at to bring up? And he just like quickly was like, anybody who's down in AAA right now is eligible to come up. So I don't know if that means Soroka is moving quicker than they anticipated. I can tell you, I'm pretty damn sure it's not going to be Ian Anderson because he shit the bed today. In AAA, he got through. I don't even think he got through an inning, and he gave up like 6 runs, and he's having a rough go, and he has been since last season.
Yeah.
I hope he's able to get right, but we already have Kyle Wright, so
yeah. Well done. Is that it?
Oh, and the Mets. The Mets lost to the Marlins. So even though we lost to the Nationals, we're not going to focus on that. We're gonna focus on the fact that the Mets lost to the Marlins.
Lost the series to the Marlins too.
Did they lose today?
Oh, I don't know.
What the hell are you talking about?
I thought you were talking about today.
No.
I gotta check now. I bet they won.
I bet they did too. They were up like 6-1 or something like that.
The Mets won. Yeah. Okay.
Out here just lying.
The Hawks are back to 500 again.
Yep.
And the Phillies are about to get swept by the Texas Rangers. They are 2 outs away from being swept. I love that.
Interesting. The Phillies were up big in Game 1, like the first game, like the opening day.
On DeGrom, too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, Zach, that was very brave of you.
Yeah, it's the bravest thing I've done all week.
All right.
Where can they find us?
Wait, whiskey shots, man. You keep forgetting. You have forgotten about whiskey. Zach.
I could never forget about whiskey.
Well, you forget about whiskey shots. Hurry up. Yeah. Just, come on. Keep it moving. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to bed. While he's getting that shot, I'll go ahead and do this out of order. You can find us at biigpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at biigpodcast. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Bud is a Good Podcast. We'll be posting the April schedule the day that this comes out. Probably this, so on Monday. Yeah, I know we're half late, but we're probably going to do air either this next week or the following week. We'll post it. We got to pick one more movie. What?
Athena peed in her crate.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
To whiskey?
To whiskey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else to add?
No. Do we know what we're doing next week, or we're still up in the air?
I don't know. It might be air. I think air comes out next week.
Still up in the air.
Yeah. But if not, we're doing air at least in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then probably doing Beau's Afraid. So we got one more film to pick. Might be Mario. Maybe not. There's something else too that comes out. I forgot what it was. It's down between a few things.
Evil Dead Rise.
No. I don't want to do that movie. I'm going as scared.
It does look scary. Okay. Well, We'll see y'all next week.
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Bye.
Bye.
But is it good podcast? Yeah.